think what we're trying to do is to turn market need into social need into market demand. You have not got a conversation with a private sector entity unless you can make very clear as to what the benefit of them doing. Now, there's a couple of trends that you should watch quite carefully. One is the fact that if I go back, as I said in my speech, 5, 10, 20 years ago, you'll see that companies only had 5 or 10% in the developing world. Now we're up to 30, 40 and 75% of global growth is going to come from the developing countries over the next, out to 2050. What does that tell you? It tells you that issues such as water, at 5% it's a nice social issue, at 30, 40% is absolutely fundamental to security. It tells you human rights in these countries becomes an element of stability. It tells you that issues like resiliency are not social issues, they're actually your supply chain. If I'm actually in farming, it tells me the maintenance of keeping farmers on the land is actually fundamental to my business. So there's one economic trend in terms of how economic development is going to be, which is in the interest of the corporate sector. The second is the millennium generation of women. And about 6 months ago, Paul Pullman decided that he would not go ahead with the deal with Kraft. Now, this may seem very esoteric, but if you go into your supermarket, whether it be in Spain or in England, around about 90% of the products that you get provided are provided by 8 companies. And that has been a trend towards concentration of that. Now, they have suddenly woken up to the fact that by the year 2030, Pullman says 60 to 70% of my consumers will be women and millennials. And interestingly, 60% of those will be Islamic. And if I look at the buying patterns of those people, what do? They want to invest and consume in line with the SDGs and in line with their values. And where I am losing market share is around my traditional brands, and where I'm making money is through the lifestyle, innovative, socially aligned deals. So what's happening is there's a reassessment between commercial and social brands. Now, that's the reason Danone has become a B Corp, in my view. That is the reason that Unilever turned down the deal, because it actually says there's this whole realignment of values going on that unless I as a major company reflect that generation, and it's reflected in other ways. If you speak to big companies, they all want, not my generation, we're old and grey, but the new generation want to find meaning in what they do. So if they want to retain these people working for the companies on an HR basis, they have to provide some element of social dynamic in there. So there's this whole, so first is pure economics, and the other is the change in values that is occurring as a function of the generational shift.